So I'm going to tell you a trick. What I did was about 10 years ago, I started looking at all the processes that I was running in my IT company. And then I started following a website that was called If This Then That. And so this is like 2010. And ifthisthenThat.com, so IFTTT.com, was the first time I saw something that would be the best way I could introduce a simple concept that kind of functions like artificial intelligence into my business processes. Today, I would say that the product Zapier.com, so Zapier.com, kind of like superseded that in a lot of ways just because of the way that cloud was going and back-end connections between all the apps. Triggers, basically. So that was before I rebranded, and this is just going to be as quickly as I can bring this up to a small video that can go on to online, this concept. So that created a huge stimulus in the way that I thought my business ran. Because now what I could do was I could have something supervised, like a software package supervise all the software packages that I use for different reasons in my business, whether it's invoicing, whether it's a template here, or whether it's, a way to satisfy a quote with information pulling from a CRM, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And those of you that understand this will know that there was a beginning of the cloud wars. And that's what I call when all these companies started coming out with apps that were very, very simple, small, free, cheap, easy to use, and they started dominating, their own technique or their own part of the internet, whether it be some sort of information manipulation or collection for, it could be a lot of things: time control, task control, project management, accounting, etc. Now, the automated method utilized that idea right away. So when I rebranded in 2015 and I changed the name of my company, what I was focusing on was the automation, cloud-to-cloud automation. Not so much like enterprise automation that someone would use that word for, like say if you were to run all of Amazon. I'm talking like a small business. And those of you that are colleagues or friends of mine that know what I'm talking about, I'm like hitting a chord here because you all use it. All my circle of friends in business use all the techniques possible to make business fast and easy. It's like the path of least resistance, we always say, but everybody knows these tricks, but maybe you don't. And so what you do is it's the simplest process to begin. What I did was I basically went somewhere with a whiteboard, or I think I might even had a whiteboard at home at the time, and I just started looking at all the processes from customer side, from like lead, from cold lead to warm, to like information from that potential customer, to databases of line items, of things that would be in an invoice, things that I could do, and then put everything into these software packages and chose through test the software packages I wanted to use, or software as a service, the cloud apps that I wanted to use to handle each one of these jobs or processes in my business that wasn't a person, wasn't a human being. And so on my iPhone, what I would have is, because there's always two things. There's the app side, and Apple would disagree with this. They only believe in the app side. But there's the app side, and then there's the website. And the website is usually a tab in Google Chrome, right? And so the website usually would have a larger concept where it's more advanced, and then the app on the phone was for speed and ease. So the things that you would normally do most often quickly. Now, if everything's talking, if it's all that Zapier, if this then that concept, what I had created inside my business was an automated method for the automated method. And I've always said to anybody that I work with, or that my company works with, that if you want to know what I'm doing, I will show you. I will show you the transparent engine, right? So you can imagine like it's not a black box, it's a transparent box, and I'll show you all the moving pieces and why and how they work. And that's what the automated method started to do. I started to have a split between customers. I had those that would just consider the automated method an IT company. And one of the things I want to fundamentally indicate is that I was not going to ditch the IT company inside the automated method, because one of the concepts I know that that's proven to me is like perfection with networking and computing. So as a small business or a medium business, I like to stay, my niche is usually under 50, right? For me as a business to business, under 50 employees. What I found was that there was a divide of 50-50 between customers that would just want to remain IT related, and the other ones that totally got the gist of what I was trying to do and wanted to see the inside of the transparent box and why, and see all the moving pieces. And then when I demonstrated that to them, what would happen is they'd have a better understanding of how they could probably apply it to their own business. So see how that works. So the way that I built my business, I can transparently show people how they can integrate some of those components into their business. And so that 50-50 divide came about as I started rebranding, and then what I noticed was that there were a lot of people that aligned one way and a lot of people that aligned the other way. But I would never ditch the worry-free IT because I have like a perfect wireframe system of all the things that I learned working as an IT company that would be, necessary for the business to have a perfect relationship with, say, the cloud, with, say, the internet, whether it be mobily or in an office, like in a brick and mortar building, right? And so you need to have that because you don't want people to get pissed off while you start introducing new technologies. So let's just, have a better, concrete, perfect wireframe system where there's backups and backups and backups, and there's load balancing. Everything is taken care of that I know from that world, so that when you start doing all the cool stuff, you don't start to blame technology in the wrong way. And I think a lot of people blame the wrong technologies because they're not looking at the bigger picture, right? And so to give a bigger picture view, which is what I'm going into this year with 2020, which is more the consulting and the mentoring, you need to have that base. Okay, so this is a longer video than I thought, but I'm going to go with this because I wanted to identify that if this then that really did change the way I thought about business. And then, so if I can introduce that concept of if this then that and artificial intelligence, which will be AI, all you need to know is that if something can be triggered automatically and you don't have to have a person responsible for that decision, and it doesn't require any creative thought, it's just, in line with something very, very simple processes, don't have a person do it, period. Because what you're doing is you're pushing together all of these pieces with instant reaction between the two of them. So your cause and your effect are like connected. So you don't have to worry about someone making a decision. So there's zero time in the middle, zero effort. It just happens. And so you can actually, like I said, and like I tangent all the time, but sometimes I'm good at coming back, the whiteboard concept of looking at every process. And don't fool yourself, okay? When living with the consulting hat on, I don't have the industry specific horse blinders that you might, where you only see what's happening in your industry and your market, where I see every market and every industry, and I can take pieces that I like of each one and assemble a full concept. So when I whiteboard a processes, there's so much that is applicable to everybody, right? Everybody can, most business, especially like when you start getting digital, is all the same. There's so many apps that everybody uses, even though they're in different industries. And there's so many things that are the same in process. So don't be arrogant. Don't just think that my process is only for my business, or the sub of that is my specific, just because I'm involved in that business is the way that it is. No, it's like certain HR processes, accounting processes, marketing processes, time, project management processes, they're all the same. It doesn't matter what business you're in. So when you whiteboard it out, you can start to see something very, very, it's like a pattern, and you can start to see exactly how to wireframe and build that into your business, and start to also see why you would want something that's very close to AI. Like I said, these automatic process triggers like in Zapier, or some of these apps have integrations with each other already. So you just go click a box inside the website and it says, do you use this app as well? And if you do, what happens is when this happens, it automatically happens here. And so you just basically have Google Chrome, and then you have, and obviously I'm a Google Chrome preference here, all the tabs that run your business. And then on your phone or your iPad or your Galaxy, whatever you want, your device, your mobile device, you have the app in the Android or the iPhone world or the iOS world, right? And so everything talks. There's no need for the computer really anymore, except for the website. So the website could be on a Mac or a Windows machine or a Google Chromebook. It's up to you. So that's the important thing I want to get across this year is you got to focus on the process. And then in that process are the apps. So I call it operations and apps, or operations and applications. So ops and apps, okay? And we're going to talk about that all the time, because I feel like once people see as a business how you can build it out, then you can start to lean out, your whole business properly. Because now you're like, oh, that always happens that way? Oh, why didn't I do that before? And it's obviously way less expensive than hiring someone to do that task. And it's also you taking away the responsibility of a human being, which, if I'm sure you have the same problems as I have with people. It's really hard to find good people. So build out these systems that are already there. Don't fight these pre-AI ideas, join them into your business, because it only creates a better, happier, more profitable operation.